Ayurveda help women who are going through menopause. Dr. Meenakshi Gupta, who's MD in Ayurveda and a Panchkarma specialist, will educate us about this sensitive topic and share efficacy of various Ayurvedic formulations in management of menopause symptoms. Dr. Gupta is a researcher of international repute and runs her private practice in Texas. I am Amita from Nourish Talk, a global platform based on showcasing evidence for natural and holistic therapies. I'd like to introduce all of you to Dr. Meenakshi, who's joining us live from Texas. Welcome, Dr. Meenakshi.
Thank you so much, Amita. Namaskar, everybody. So today we are going to talk about Ayurveda care for menopause. So we will see what is perimenopause and menopause and how the clinical presentation of menopause is and how the menopause actually impact the woman's life. And also we will discuss about various Ayurvedic diet, Ayurvedic formulation, Ayurvedic herbs, which can be helpful in the management of various symptoms and syndromes of menopause. And also we will understand the curative effect of Ayurvedic drugs, or I would say the Ayurvedic herbs in treating menopausal symptoms. So if we talk about the menopause, I always tell my clients that menopause means no pause. We always say that it is not a pause in the woman life. Little bit disclaimer about this presentation, that this presentation is for the education purpose only, and it is not meant to cure or diagnose or not to make any claim regarding treatment related to diabetes or any other medical condition or menopause. It is not intended to substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. And if you have any pre-existing condition or ongoing health condition related to menopause or any other health condition, it is always good to consult with your primary care physician. And prior taking any educational advice also, always talk to your doctor regarding a new healthcare regimen. So, menopause in Ayurveda, the term itself is it's a condition named as Rajo Nivritti. So Rajo Nivritti is derived from Raja Nivritti, means cessation of Artha Pravritti, means when there is a no menstrual cycle or the monthly cycle is going on, then the term menopause comes. Artha along with Stanya is mentioned as Upadhatu of Rasadhatu. So if you know about a little bit about the Ayurveda, so every dhatu has the Upadhatu, and Artha is the Upadhatu of the Rasadhatu. So why the menopause happens? The specific reason for the Rajonivritti or the menopause is not described in Ayurveda text actually. So in Ayurveda, we say that there are certain diseases or there are certain conditions which happens because of the time period. We say that the sabhava means which happens naturally without any reason. So menopause is also one of that condition which happens according to the age, according to the because of the prakriti, and kala means the time when the time is appropriate, and also can be because of abhighata means because of the natural unnatural menopause can happen because of the abhighata. Next slide please. So menopause in Western terminology is a normal natural event defined as the final menstrual period confirmed after 1 year of no menstrual bleeding. So after a 1 year of cessation of periods, then the term menopause comes. And it represents the permanent cessation of periods resulting from loss of ovarian follicular function, usually normally happens due to aging. So Ayurveda also says it happens because of the time period, because when we aged, the body response to various hormones diminishes, and that's why the menopause happens. Next slide, please. So natural age is, average age is 51, but it can happen prematurely also. Prematurely happens, which I was telling in prior slide, abhighata. Prematurely because of the medical intervention, like bilateral oophorectomy, for any reason, chemotherapy at any time for impaired ovarian function, and sometimes because of the hysterectomy. That also can cause the menopause. Terminology: post-menopause, the year after the final menstrual periods resulting from natural or premature menopause. Now there is a perimenopause also. Three stages of menopause, we say that: perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. Perimenopause phase, if we see in a real setting, that can last from 5 to 10 years in some women. So that's how the body prepares for the upcoming menopause. And then there is a menopause when there is a complete cessation of the periods. And then the postmenopause, where you see the after effects of the menopause. Nowadays, if we see that the current life expectancy, the postmenopausal year make up to 1/3 and half of the lifespan of most North American women. So the life expectancy has increased. And with that, if we see that if a woman is actually has the age of 80 years or 85 years and getting menopause at 45 or 50 years maximum, then 1/3 of the lifespan is still under that phase, post-menopausal years. So women accounts for 50% of US population. Here I have pulled the data for the US population, and up to 90% of healthcare decisions are being taken by the woman itself. 2 out of every 3 healthcare dollars spent annually on the woman healthcare, and 59% of all prescription drugs purchased when it comes to the menopause. Almost, if we see that healthcare providers spend 75% of their time treating women aged 65 years and older for various reasons. And all these reasons, majority of the reasons are contributing by menopause. Next slide, please. So age at menopause has remained constant while life expectancy has increased. So as we see that in 1850, the average age for the woman was maximum 50, 52. And now in 2000 and 2020, the menopause age at menopause has been up to 50, 45 to 50, but the life expectancy has increased further up to 80 and 80 years, 85 years. Next slide, please. So approximately, if we see that 4,900 US women enter menopause each day, it's a huge number. And if you see that numbers of US women, the age expectancy in and as compared to the demographic also, we see that the makeup of demographic in United States is constantly changing. And also we see that there is a certain age group and certain ethnicity in United States for the woman, which goes under menopause earlier and has the longer life expectancy. Next slide, please. So ethnicity, when we talk about the ethnicity in the United States, we see that the demographic makeup of United States, as I said, it is constantly changing because a lot of immigration, population increases among racially, ethnically, culturally. And there are two minority groups which we say that almost make up of quarter of country's population, which is a Latino, Hispanic, who currently represent almost 14% of the total population, and African American, which expected to be in 2050 approximately 30% of the population. So this kind of diversity creates um, uh, a major effect on the healthcare organization. And as I said, that the ethnicity is different, and the age group for the women who going for a menopause is also different. And the side effect of the menopause for those different ethnicity is also different. Next slide, please. So if we see the life expectancy in years for US women by race ethnicity, so average years for Black non-Hispanic is 77, Hispanic 82, Asian 85, American Indian 80%, white non-Hispanic is 81% approximately. So if we count towards the 45 or 50 age of menopause, then there is a lot to go after the menopause. And looking at the side effect of the menopause, the healthcare system feels that lot need to be done to taken care of the female population. Next slide. What happens when the menopause happens? Uh, Perimenopause and menopause brings the circulating estrogen lowers, ratio of estrogen to androgen also decreases, sex hormones binding globulin secretion also decreases, and then there is a reversal of estradiol to estrotone ratio. And if we see that because of all these hormonal changes, the body goes into a lot of stress. And there are, since the estrogen receptors are located on various body organs, so the impact is also huge. Next slide, please. So these are the location of estrogen receptors. If you see that these are located in the brain, breast, eye, genitourinary tract, heart and blood vessels, liver, ovaries, skeleton, skin, and hair. Now, if you are if you are 45 or above, and if you are wondering why you are having a hair loss, blame it on estrogen, because estrogen receptors are present on skin and hair. And once the estrogen level decreases, it start affecting the hair texture also, and also the number of hair follicles also. And since the receptors are located in the brain, so when the estrogen drops there, then the hot flashes, insomnia, irritability, mood disturbance, dementia. Dementia here I would like to highlight can lead to Alzheimer's also for the females after the menopause. Then it is located in the breast also, and then the higher chances of getting the breast cancer, macular degeneration, vaginal atrophy, stress incontinency, and cardiovascular diseases, adverse changes in lipid profile. We see that a lot of people who, females who goes into the menopause, they have the high cholesterol, or the arteriosclerosis also happens. Follicle depletions, osteoporosis also, because once the estrogen level drops, the bones start leaching, the blood level of calcium also decreases. And that's how the bones becomes more brittle, osteoporosis. So in that way, if we see that the estrogen depletion during the menopause, or the lower level of estrogen put havoc results on the all the major system of the body. Next slide, please. So estrogen receptor activity, two estrogen receptors, alpha and beta, both are present in the ovary, central nervous system, many other tissues. And estrogen has many complex benefits also, and deleterious effect on the body also. So when the estrogen level decreases, it puts a lot of negative effect on the body. Next slide, please. So here you can see the short-term symptoms and long-term diseases. Short-term symptoms, if we see that there is a hot flashes. Amita, we need to click. Yes, hot flashes, mood, sleep, or acute cognitive changes, Urogenital symptoms, skin changes also you will see. Urogenital symptoms are women can experience incontinency where there is a hard to hold the urine. In spite of having the natural function of the bladder and the kidneys, there is no pre-existing condition, then also it is hard to control the urination. Skin changes, lot of pigmentation, we see that, and a lot of growth of moles and other skin changes, we see that. And then we see that, click one more time, cardiovascular diseases also. And also we see that with the menopause, osteoporosis also. One more click, osteoporosis.
This
Next
happens
slide.
after a certain age, osteoporosis, at least what you're mentioning, right?
Osteoporosis nowadays, if we see that it is happening early. Previously, it used to be 50, 55 plus or 60, maximum 60 at the age of. But now, because a lot of people, they opt for vegan diet, and also there is a lack of calcium in the diet. And if you are a vegetarian, then there is no source of calcium, external source. You rely more on the medicine for that, the supplements. That also leads to the osteoporosis. And
The
cognitive decline, as I said, that memory loss, foggy brain, and also it can lead to the Alzheimer's also. Female are at more risk for the Alzheimer's after menopause as compared to the men. So management, if we see that in a Western medicine, there are oral contraceptive, menopausal hormones therapy also, they do that. And why the hormonal contraceptions? Because it offers a viable option for both symptomatic perimenopausal women and especially for those who want to avoid the pregnancy. Combination of estrogen, progesterone contraceptives, but it has a limitation. It is only appropriate for healthy, lean, non-smoking perimenopausal women. Contraindicated in women over age 35 who smoke. Other contraindication if somebody has the pre-existing condition like hypertension, diabetes, obesity, other comorbidities, then also it is a contraindication. And non-contraceptive benefits of the oral contraceptives. It suppresses vasomotor symptoms, restore predictable bleeding, decrease dysmenorrhea where the painful menstruation is there, lower risk of endometrial and ovarian cancer. Next slide, please. When to stop? It is according to the guidelines by the Western medicine. The individualization is required. When to stop, you need to consult your OBGYN, especially in early 50, and they considered it as a typical age for menopause, and that is the time when the oral contraceptive has to be stopped. But if they stop the oral contraceptive also, many times the doctor wants you to go for a hormonal replacement therapy or hormone therapy. In hormone therapy, you will see that a lot of hot flashes as a side effect. Next slide, please. The hormonal therapy, menopausal hormonal therapy, and this hormonal therapy can be with the standalone and can be with the combination. So estrogen therapy, estrogen progesterone therapy also, and bioidentical hormone therapy. Next slide, please. So hormone therapy, if you see that transdermal route has a lesser side effect, but otherwise the hormone therapy is prone to create other side effects as well. Absolute risk for hormone therapy used in healthy women age 50 to 59 are low, but can increase the rates of thrombosis, means clotting, stroke, and cardiovascular event. Also, the breast cancer risk increases with the hormone therapy. And also, especially estrogen therapy, a person can do for a longer duration because it carries a lower risk for breast cancer, whereas the estrogen progesterone therapy carries the higher risk. So all these hormone therapies or oral contraceptives or the combination therapies have some side effects. Next slide, please. So if we see that the basic of Ayurveda therapy in menopause, Ayurveda more emphasize on the natural approach. So first of all, we correct the dosha imbalance with appropriate diet and herbs. For Vata dominant, for Vata dominant menopause, we say that increase intake of warm food, regular meals. The meal time should be regularized. Use spices such as fennel, cumin. Those are very, very good to improve the digestion and correct the vata imbalance. Decrease the caffeine. If you are taking like 3 to 4 cups of coffee or the tea, which are caffeinated, decrease those also. And also refined sugar, cold drinks, salads, lifestyle. A lot of people, they think that salads can be helpful for the weight loss. But here, if you are a vata dominant and you are undergoing menopause, then the cold salads will aggravate those symptoms. So that's why the salads also needs to be not consumed on regular basis. Instead of salads, you can do that soups and stews. Early bedtime, you can opt for oil massage. Or a choice of oil can be sesame oil, can be almond oil, can be olive oil. Meditation, yoga, regular exercise like walking. And you can also incorporate certain herbs like ashwagandha, arjuna, cardamom also. Garlic is also very friendly. Then the sandalwood also. Sandalwood actually one can apply for on the body for the hot flashes also, or you can use the sandalwood oil as well. Now for pitta dominant menopause, we see that a lot of people, they have complaint of hot flashes, angry also they get, the emotional imbalance also. So the diet needs to be, which is having the soothing effect, cooling effect, a lot of water intake. One can have the fruits, incorporate the fruits which is more sweet, juicy in nature, like grapes, pears, plums, mangoes, melons, apples, all according to the season. And then the vegetables wise, zucchini also, squash, cucumber, all those food you can incorporate. And when it comes to the spices, you can incorporate cinnamon, cardamom, fennel. Cardamom and fennel are cooling in nature. So if you are feeling constantly thirsty or hot flashes or profuse sweating, then the fennel and cardamom can be helpful in that. Avoid hot, spicy food, hot drinks, lifestyle wise, walking, yoga, meditation, oil massage. You can use the coconut oil, and again, the sesame oil also can be incorporated. Exercise, exposure to the sun should be limited. So when I talk about the pitta dominant, so if you are getting a lot of exposure to the sun, that also going to aggravate the pitta. So exposure to the sun also should be limited, especially when it is the summer season. Then the herbs you can use, aloe vera you can use, arjuna, amla, Indian gooseberry. That is very, very good when it comes to, it acts as it is a rasayana. And it helps not only to improve the digestion, it also helps in the detoxification in gentle way. Virechna also, it does that. And it is very, very cooling also. Aloe vera also one can use. Aloe vera juice, aloe vera pulp, fresh aloe vera pulp without the alcohol content. You just cut the leaf and apply get the aloe vera pulp out of that and apply that. That also will be helpful in the hot flashes as well as for the skin pigmentation. For kapha dominant, when we see that the kapha dominant menopause, the diet should be light because kapha has the tendency of the heaviness. So the diet should be light, dry, warm food. Consume the fruits, whole grains, legumes, whole grains, whole wheat, whole rice, quinoa, different type of millets you can consume, lentils, beans you can consume, lot of vegetables according to the season. Spices, black pepper, long pepper, as well as ginger powder. That is also one can consume. Turmeric also one can consume. And for the kapha dominant menopause, especially the kapha dominant menopause is more prone to the depression. So for that, avoid the consumption of those food which does not have any positive energy, like a lot of meat. They should not consume cheese, processed food, sugar, cold drinks, and cold food or the refrigerated food should not be consumed for the kapha dominant menopause. Then comes the internal detoxification, um, which is a panchkarma therapy. And along with that, there is a before the panchkarma therapy, one can also opt for sanshamana therapy. Sanshamana, which includes the Agni Deepam, improving the digestion. Ama Pachan, there are a lot of ama buildup because of the various reasons: stress, hormonal imbalance, age, external factors like environmental factors. So for those, ama Pachan also can be helpful. And then during the menopause or perimenopause, we see that the strength also goes down. So for that, the balya also, the food or the diet which provides strength to the body, that also can be done. Then Panchkarma, when we talk about the Panchkarma, these are the 5 therapies which thoroughly cleanse and purify the physical as well as the mental impurities. When we talk about Ayurveda, it is not only your physical health, it is also encompasses your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. So that also helpful, Panchkarma can be helpful in keeping all the aspect in the balanced state. So the general purpose of Panchkarma therapy is through the 5 therapies, loosen, liquefy, and remove the vitiated substances and doshas from their abnormal sites in peripheral tissues via their natural pathway of elimination. So it has 3 phases. We will discuss some other time what the Panchkarma is, pre-Panchkarma, Panchkarma, and post-Panchkarma. Then comes the Sattvic Chikitsa. Sattva Vajja Chikitsa. Sattva Vajja Chikitsa means the counseling and reassurance. Many times in my practice, I see that the woman who undergoes menopause, they have a lot of stress, heart palpitation, anxiety, lack of sleep, and on the top of the internal changes happening in the body. And that put a lot of stress. And for that, the counseling is definite one can do to help those women to create the balance at the mental level. Yoga therapy also can be very, very helpful. And the Rasayana therapy, when we talk about it, it is not only preventing the aging changes, but it also bring the youthfulness to the person. Next slide, please. So if we see that the basic of Ayurveda therapy in menopause, then Rasayana is the main component here. So as I said, the Rasayana is not only to combat the aging, it also brings the youthfulness. It increases the lifespan, it helps in increasing the memory, intelligence, improves the color, complexion, strength, and performance of all bodily tissues. And it also restores the cognition. And Rasayana herbs actually acts by strengthening all the dhatus. Dhatus here means the bodily tissues. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the Rasayana therapy, in Ayurveda we say that Grita Shiradi Nityasyu means if somebody consume the grita, means the ghee, cow ghee, Shiradi, milk, on daily basis, that can help in delaying the onset of menopause. Next slide, please. And Rasayana is not only related to the herbs, it also related to the lifestyle also. So when we talk about the lifestyle management, following the dincharya, there is a certain rules to adopt, like brush your teeth in the morning, cleanse yourself, massage the body, abhyanga, on daily basis, regular basis, oil pulling, the gargling, That also, Nasyam also falls into the category of Dincharya. Then there are certain rules to apply for the night regimen also, Ratricharya, and then the seasonal Ritucharya. Muscular exercise also very, very important to maintain the strength and mineralization of the bones. And especially if somebody is going through perimenopause and menopause, walking is the best exercise. But along with that, the weight bearing exercise is very, very important because that will be helpful in preventing the osteoporosis. Surya Namaskar, yoga, pranayam also can be helpful because Surya Namaskar, yoga, pranayam actually helps in activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is a rest and digest. And that's how it helps in adjusting with the stress level created by the hormonal imbalance. Next slide, please. And also there is a ahar rasayana, food as a medicine. In Ayurveda, we say that food can be acts as a medicine. Food can act as a poison also. So when we talk about the menopause, there are certain food which can be beneficial. The food which are here I have added, those are the phytoestrogen, which helps in the balancing the estrogen levels. Chickpeas, Bengal grams, black grams, soya bean and soya products are considered to be very good for the phytoestrogens. Flax seed, sesame seed, then fenugreek, oats, barley, beans, lentils, yams, root vegetables are also considered to be very, very best when it comes to menopause. But make sure that you should not be having any other health condition like diabetes. If that, then the specific diet needs to be done by the Ayurveda practitioner. Mung beans also, apples, carrots, pomegranates, rice bran, coffee, licorice root, mint, ginseng, berberine whiskey, fennel, and anise. All these food items and the herbs and the spices one can incorporate safely in the meal preparations to get the full effect of the phytoestrogens. Next slide, please. So, Dravya Rasayana means the Ayurvedic herbal therapies. So, how the Rasayana drugs or the Rasayana herbs works? It helps in preventing the senile degeneration, stimulate the metabolism, promote body resistance and immunity. All the Rasayana therapies or all the Rasayana herbs are considered to be immunomodulator. Improves the memory and intelligence, increase vitality. And those herbs are also not only the immunomodulator, also are nootropic, means works very well for the nervous system. Prevent from disease and restore health and increase long life. When we talk about the Dravya Rasayana, I would like to mention a couple of, one is Trifla. Trifla is falls under the category of Rasayana combination. It consists of Haritki, Amalki, and Vibhitki. Amalki, Indian gooseberry, Ambelica officinalis. All these three combined together in a certain proportion actually helps in pacifying all the three doshas. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha, everybody can have that. And also very good when it comes to the anti-aging. We call it as a Vayasthapana, means anti-aging agent. Then the second Rasayana herb is Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, we all know that it is powerful antioxidant, immune modulator, and it is one of the herb which improves not only the strength of the muscles, also improve the muscle mass, and also stress. For the stress, this is the one of the very, very good herb. As I said, don't start, because I'm telling all these herbs, don't start taking all these herbs because many herbs can be contraindicated if you are taking certain Western medicine. For example, ashwagandha, if somebody is on the blood thinners, ashwagandha is a big no. So before starting any regimen, it is always good to talk to your primary care physician and Ayurveda specialist. Also, the licorice also comes under the Rasayana herb. Licorice also works very well when it comes to the menopause. It is actually an excellent antioxidant, immunomodulator as well. Works very well when in menopause there is a depression sets in, and also improves the memory. So all those side effects, if you can think about the menopause, all these Rasayana herbs can be very, very good. But as I said, it is always good to consult somebody before starting any new regimen. Next slide, please. So here are the certain herbs which I have put for menopause. In Ayurveda, we use the herbs which are Vat Shamak, which helps in creating the balance, Rasayana, which are cardiotonic, and also helps in promoting the strength and Bala, and also helps in promoting the digestive system, and nourish the dhatus. Those are the herbs of the choice which we use for the menopause. First is the Shatavari. Shatavari actually is proven to be helpful in all stages of the life. We say that in the teenage, during the pregnancy, after the delivery also, and during perimenopause, menopause, after menopause also. So it is a very woman-friendly herb which one can use on regular basis. Uh, it also provides again the strength to the body, and it contains a natural phytoestrogen, and can also be, in various research has been done, can also be used instead of hormonal replacement therapy. And Shatavari one can include in the diet by adding the asparagus, asparagus as a vegetable also. Though this is a different variety, this is Asparagus racemosus, Ayurvedic herb we are talking. But here in the United States, one can always incorporate asparagus in the diet to get the benefit of these herbs. Then Shat Pushpa also. Shat Pushpa is also very helpful, especially when it comes to the irregular periods. It helps in regulation of menstrual flow in teens, effective for people who complain of spasmodic pain during the menopause, and also in the menopause when there is a irregular periods and heavy bleeding. Sometimes in perimenopause phase we see that irregular bleeding as well as the heavy bleeding. So Shat Pushpa can be helpful in that also. And to incorporate the Shat Pushpa in a safer way, one can always take half teaspoon, boil in the water, and that water you can consume throughout the day. Then the Chandrashur also. This is one of the herb mentioned in ancient scriptures of Ayurveda. And also this herb is very useful in the postpartum period also. It, like Shatavari, it also promotes the lactation during the breastfeeding. Shatavari also promotes the lactation, and Chandrashur also promotes the lactation. And this is also helps in gaining the strength in the female. In that also we can use. And especially when it comes to the estrogen deficiency, Chandrashur also is very, very beneficial. Then the Bala Sida cordifolia. It is sweet in nature. And this is also, as the name said, balya. It provides strength to the body. And this is the herb which we use. It is again a female friendly. Can be used for various reasons in the female, but during the menopause, it helps in the vata imbalance, and also pitta imbalance. So vata and pitta imbalance can be treated with the help of the consuming the bala. Then comes the Shankh Pushpi. Shankh Pushpi is one of the Medhya Rasayana, which is a nootropic, works very well for the nervous system. And this herb also normally we use for the cognitive function. And in menopause, we see that there is a declination of the cognitive function. So some Shankpushpi also one can incorporate on regular basis. And Shankpushpi, the beauty of this herb is it actually helps in balancing all the three doshas, Vat, Pitta, Kapha, all the three doshas, but effectively manages the Pitta aggravation. So all these herbs one can utilize in day-to-day basis after consulting your Ayurveda physician or the practitioner. Next slide, please. So there is a one study, here is the link of the study down, where the clinical study has done with the Ashoka Arisht, Ashwagandha and Pravalpishti in the management of menopausal syndrome. Ashoka Arisht, all the selected patients were given Ashoka Arisht 25 ml twice daily with equal quantity of water after food orally. Ashwagandha 3 gram twice daily with milk half an hour before food orally. And Pravalpishti 1 capsule of 250 milligram twice day with milk half an hour before food. And if you see the next slide, please. The symptoms, how it affects the symptoms. Hot flashes decreases, heart discomfort decreases, sleep problems also decreases. Anxiety, physical and mental exhaustion, sexual problems, bladder problems, dryness of the vagina, joint and muscular discomfort, all decreases. The percentage of changes you can see here between 40 to 84%, depending upon the symptoms. So all these herbs are really, really good when it comes to the menopause. Next slide, please. So here the marked, you can see the overall results from that study. Mark improvement 75% to 100%, good improvement 50% to 75%. Overall, we see that when we saw the symptom wise, there was a overall result shows that there is a good improvement of the menopausal syndrome when assessed with the Ashoka Arisht, Pravalpishti as well as Ashwagandha Churna. Next slide, please. So this is the conclusion about that study is that all the symptoms related to the gastrointestinal disturbance, vaginal symptom, hot flashes, psychological symptoms, headache, irritability, depression, mood swings, sleep disturbance, were got benefit when all those people were treated with all these three combinations, and there was no any adverse effect was noted during the study. So in that way, you will find a lot of research has been done. This is only one research I have pulled because I just wanted to give the example how the Ayurveda studies also has been done. So whatever the herbs and the diet part, it has gone through the not only the rigorous clinical research, also based upon the experience also, we can say that the menopausal symptoms and the syndrome, perimenopause to menopause, postmenopause, can be easily manageable by following Ayurveda diet, Ayurveda lifestyle, as well as incorporating some Ayurvedic herbs. And these are the references. If somebody wants, they can see the references also.
Great. Excellent presentation. We are open for questions and we've written our email and website. So I'm going to stop sharing so people can ask questions, we don't anonymously, no problem. So, okay. All right. So first question is, when you moved the slides, I lost what OCS is. Can you explain the Kapha dosha? The first two were water and fire dominant. Then what element dominant? I think they're trying to understand the basics of when you started with the Kapha dosha. Yeah.
So the OC is oral contraceptives. That's what it means. Now, when it comes to the doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, there are three doshas. and based upon the 5 elements. So Vata is a combination of air element and ether. Pitta is a combination of fire as well as water, and Kapha is a combination of water and earth element. So in Kapha dosha, there is a water and earth element that is the dominant one.
Yeah. So the continuation of when you say menopause occurs, you lose hair and skin pigmentation appear. You mentioned that. For the skin, is it only on the face or also on the body?
Actually, unfortunately, the on the face it starts increasing, and on the body it starts decreasing. Especially the scalp part, it starts
Yeah,
decreasing. But on the face, we see
yeah,
a lot of people get the facial hair. That is the
that's right.
side effect of
Yeah.
this.
So, do you have a test to identify which dosha? Well, you want to answer that? Someone, how do you identify which dosha?
There are a lot of tests available online free of cost. You can go to various websites.
Yeah.
The test is
But
available,
are
or
they
you
accurate? Are they accurate, Dr. Gupta? They're okay if you go online and do all
yes,
these? Okay.
they can get it done online, but you have to understand that the test which you are taking, that will give you your normal natural constitution. It is not going to give us the vikruti where the imbalance is. So a lot
Right.
of people, they take the test and they said, okay, I'm vata, so that means I have to avoid the vata activating food or the diet or the lifestyle. But to understand that the doshas are constantly changing, even with the change of the season, even the day also, as the day progress, doshas proportion changes. And the prakriti is, which is kind of like your genetic code, which nobody can change. That happens when you when somebody like when somebody conceived, depending upon the couple's mindset, their diet, lifestyle, stress level, everything affects the constitution of the fetus. So that is what you acquire from the parents. I always tell, blame on your parents that you are Vata people or Pitta people.
Yeah.
But the Vikruti, which we
Yeah.
see that with imbalances, so that has to understand. You can take the free test for the Prakriti, but for Vikriti, definitely you need the Vaidya's help or Ayurveda physician help.
Okay. Hope we answered that question. Okay. So then the follow up is, do you mean asparagus, the vegetable, is good? You mentioned that asparagus,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yes. So Shatavari is Asparagus racemosus, but here we get the asparagus as a vegetable also, which is a different
Yeah.
variety, but have the same components. So you can use, instead of using the Shatavari, you can use asparagus naturally when it
Mhm.
is in the season.
Okay. And then you also mentioned that the dementia in one of the slides is due to menopause or aging process. Only after menopause would women develop a dementia. That's what you mentioned in one of the slides,
Yes,
right?
yes. Because of the hormonal changes, estrogen level drops, and we see that the estrogen level is situated in the central nervous system. So that's
Yeah.
how it affects the memory. And if there is an underlying condition or the family history of Alzheimer's, then then the person has chances of getting that becomes more higher.
Sure, sure, sure. And then you also mentioned about with the vegan and vegetarian diet, right? They don't get calcium. So, what can you recommend? That's a question for calcium after menopause.
So for the calcium supplement, if you are vegan or vegetarian, then look for the components which are higher in calcium, like black sesame seed. One can incorporate flaxseed, also one can incorporate red millet, ragi. That is also rich in calcium. One can incorporate. So in that way, the food can we can incorporate on regular basis. And there are a lot of green veggies also. Here I will say that a lot of people think the spinach is rich in calcium, but spinach has the oxalic acid also, which hampers the absorption of calcium. So you have to make sure that whatever you are doing after consulting somebody, just don't rely on the Google information completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions, comments, feedback? Um, we have a few minutes. We can take a couple of more questions before we wrap up. Any feedback?
And I would
Okay.
also like to add, Amita, here, daily massage, Abhyanga, is very, very beneficial, especially when you are 50, 55 plus.
Yeah.
That will be helpful, especially with the sesame oil. Sesame oil has natural component of the calcium also. It helps in nourishing the skin, provide the circulation also, strengthening the bone also, and milder way of detoxification also. And when you massage your body by yourself or go to the massage therapist also, then it actually helps in as a stress reliever also, because it massage activates again the parasympathetic nervous system,
Yeah.
and parasympathetic nervous system helps in the stress. So we always want the parasympathetic nervous system to act, because it is a friendly, not the sympathetic nervous system, which aggravate the cortisol level, stress hormones.
So, Abhyanga, you talked about the self massage. I mean, it's difficult for all of us to afford a massage on a daily basis. So, you would recommend, like in the morning, we massage ourselves with sesame oil and leave it for some time, right?
Yes, 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, depending upon your time and your schedule, you can get it done in the morning. Leave for 10 to 15 minutes, and then you can take the lukewarm shower. Not
Okay.
very hot shower, because the skin is prone to more dryness during the menopause. If you take the hot shower, it's going to make the skin more dry. So that's why the lukewarm shower is the best one to do that.
Okay. Someone's asking me, do you have a direct link for all the replay? Or you can go to our Facebook, and we've also started putting on our, Amy, we've started putting on our website as well, all the videos, but I'm happy to, you can go on Facebook right now, YouTube channels, and then they're asking you about your contact info, or if you would offer a workshop in near future. We were exactly talking about that before. Yes.
Yeah, we are going to offer the workshop as well at the same platform. You can get all the details from the Nourish Doc Facebook page or the website. And regarding my information, my practice is in Dallas, Texas. I
Yeah.
do offer online consultations as virtual consultation as well. All the
Okay.
information is on my website, www.ayurroots. It's AYUR roots ROOTS. So RROOTS.com.
I'm happy to send, and we'll bring Dr. Meenakshi to offer consultations through NourishTalk as well. So it's it'll be streamlined. But for now, if you want to consult with her, you can send it to us, and we'll direct you to her. No problem. Okay. So someone is asking a very interesting question: how to self massage? Can you demo? I think that's a separate class, by the way.
Definitely, that is going to be the
Maybe you
separate.
can be the model here. No, I'm just joking. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can talk a little bit about it. The demo part is quite an interesting request from you, Amy.
There are a lot of YouTube videos which one can go and watch how to do the self body massage. But to make you understand, you can take the warm sesame oil or any your choice of oil, a small amount in your palm, and do the long strokes on the long bones and the arms and the legs towards the heart, and shorter strokes on the face, upward strokes. So in that way, you can do the self body massage. And the scalp is always like you can start from the center and go out towards the side with the pressure points also in gentle way. Then that is also very, very good. But here I would like to say that this area as well as your feet are very, very important, because feet are the seat for many major points which activates your whole body and the nervous system. So don't forget to massage your feet every night before going to the bed. It will take only a couple of minutes, not more than that. Any choice of oil. I prefer sesame oil infused with a little bit of lavender you can use. And lavender also very good for when it comes to the stress and all. So in that way also you can utilize that.
Okay, we've written our email for all of you. If you have more questions, unfortunately, these are 60-minute sessions, and these are informational sessions. But as we talked earlier, we are bringing Dr. Meenakshi will be here to do a more in-length workshop on this particular topic. We love you, Dr. Meenakshi. We'd like to love to have you.
Definitely, yeah.
Thank you. With that, I'd like to wrap up the session. Any comments, last comment from any of the audience? Let me know, but we are ending the session now. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Meenakshi, for being with us. And,
Thank you so much, Amita. And I would like to thank you to the Nourish Doc also, that this platform is really, really wonderful. Whoever wants to get the authentic and good knowledge about Ayurveda and various other the systems also, acupuncture or yoga. This is the platform which is doing kind of like a free service for everybody to provide the authentic knowledge. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for your support. Without your support, we cannot do anything. So I want to thank all the experts. Thank you.